Well, schedule week has definitely taken an interesting turn as there might actually be some updates when it comes to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and its possible future with NASCAR. I have to get the word possible in there just because, well, we don't know yet. But I took some notes down. Adam Stern had kind of stern bombed this, tweeting out a link from the Nashville Banner, a local Nashville affiliate, talking about the possible new deal that could actually be moving forward right now. The tweet that he put said a deal between Metro and SMI to overhaul the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and bring top tier NASCAR races back to South Nashville's site is nearly ready to announce via the Nashville Banner. That headline right off the bat, huge. Now, don't get me wrong. This does not mean anything is set in stone. Doesn't mean it can't completely go awry. Doesn't even mean that maybe it's as positive as it sounds. It's just a positive spin. I'll be honest. It's kind of hard to tell these days because I've heard of this stuff since roughly the time I started on YouTube of the fairgrounds and the back and forth. I've heard from people at the fairgrounds as well as others who are maybe fans of it, but might, know some other things that it's very wishy-washy of what could happen. And to that point, I don't know what to trust anymore. But going through this, it does seem like it's a bit more positive. Now, there were updates from Jasper Hendricks, the chair of the Metro Board of Fair Commissions, who is also pretty pro racing and pro racetrack and bringing NASCAR to the Nashville Fairgrounds again. Now, he says that there is more to be shared in the next few days, more details to come out, more concrete things to talk about. But he says a new deal would differ as, quote, there would be no financial obligation from the city. Now, I think this is something that's really important to look at as, well, there's a lot of people who are going to oppose NASCAR being at the racetrack and oppose the racetrack in general, no matter what. I have a feeling the more moderate people are probably worried, rightfully so, about their pocketbooks with it. And to kind of extend that kind of olive branch from SMI to them, I don't think that's a bad plan whatsoever. And that's something I'll say in sports in general, I think is really bad and I don't like, is expecting the taxpayer to pay for a stadium that somebody else owns that is not yours. Now, I get it. It's a little different with the fair board and the fairgrounds and the city having that kind of interest in the track. But in general, I don't think taxpayers should have to foot the bill for millionaires and billionaires and their nice little sports arenas. Just saying. Now, this is something, again, that's big. Other major obstacles apparently have been addressed. And it does say, though, that the owner of the soccer club next door, who has been very, very anti-Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and very anti-NASCAR, is going to be very upset with the deal that seemingly has been struck or is about to be struck. Though Jerry Caldwell of SMI did say that he is delighted by the proposal and also pushes forth that it would help the community more and does not really weigh them down the way that them having to pay for a bunch of it would. But of course, there are two sides to each story, and there is the opposition, which I think has completely shown their true colors over the last couple of years. The quotes were given from Heidi Baskill Favorite, who is an opponent of the track. She also has made more coalitions against the racetrack and against NASCAR in doing so. So again, we know where that side of it is. We got somebody that's pro fairgrounds on this. Now someone who's very anti fairgrounds. She and others in her kind of coalition want the Metro charter, which requires racing to be done at the track, to be completely rewritten. So right now, what they have in the charter kind of agreement with the city, the fairground, fair board, all of that, is that due to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway being a very historic spot in Nashville, one of the oldest racetracks in the world, actually, that racing is to be preserved there. her and a lot of other people want that erased off of the charter whatsoever. They want it to be where racing is not required and they can move racing away from the city, away from the track, and away from their area. They want to kill racing at the Nashville Fairgrounds. They want to kill this track. They do not care of the history it has in racing in this community. They don't care at all. And I get it. I'm not even going to say I'm not biased. I totally am, especially having been there, worked there, and seen what that track can do for the community. They have said they would rather have a green area or have it be, some kind of preservation area or build a complete area of affordable housing on it, which there were even some blueprints going around at the city about doing that did not include the racetrack existing. This is something that's been pushed by a lot of them. This is something that's been pushed by the soccer club and the interests in that with Giada's Park next door. And this is something that I think needs to be fully on the table and out there. While there are a lot of people for the racetrack, there are a lot of people that are vehemently against the racetrack at this point. Now, the interesting part is asking what people want, because there's been polling done by those for it, those against it, and it's inconclusive in my opinion. The ones who are for the racetrack have went out and done polling and find overwhelming support, sometimes up to 80% of respondents being for the racetrack having NASCAR come to it. Now, that is with the asterisk that they give the added details to those they are polling of what the deal would kind of bring up, what stuff would be added to the track, like foam sound walls, like different ways to get traffic through, the less race dates, things like that, which that should be something from the get-go that there needs to be more on that side of it. On the other end, those against the racetrack say they have overwhelming support for them to not even have racing at the track whatsoever. And they pushed, granted it got struck down, but they pushed to have it on the ballot for people to vote on whether or not they would want that and would want NASCAR or want racing in general there. So that's important to look at as well. One thing I did notice is that of the respondents, when they did age breakdowns, is it's the older respondents who are most against racing at the fairgrounds and most against NASCAR, especially coming into town. The ugly truth about all of this, being in a big city and trying to get a long-term deal struck here for these renovations, is that we are going to be playing the political game. It is not right versus left. It is intercommunity at this point with it. And that's going to be the thing that I think is going to really suck with all of this, is because no matter what happens, people, especially in the area, will be most affected by it. And if NASCAR and SMI don't do their part to mitigate or even make things better with it, then they're going to be the ones most hurt. And it's going to be a community that's probably not going to be as open to the sport as we would want. What this would mean for the Nashville Super Speedway, I don't know. A lot of people are thinking that this is going to take Dover's date one day. The thing that you got to remember is that even if something were to get passed today, as of putting this video out, it'd probably take years to get it truck ready, let alone have it cup ready. There's so many things to go into it, whether it be the apartments next door, the infrastructure around and inside the track, the repave itself that will probably need to happen. How do you preserve the local racing aspect? Because that is a big important part. And this is not going to be some SMI owned track. It's a lease they're going after. So this would probably not even be on the truck schedule, I would think, till like 2028 if everything went perfect. 2029 probably at best, honestly, for realistic. And that's, I think, even pushing it still from what I have been able to tell and know about this speedway. The big question I have, and that's not even for all y'all in the audience, you can answer it if you want, but is this even for real this time? I saw Dale Jr. post his response, and once you read into it, after the really cool headline, it sounds great, but we've heard this stuff before. Is it for real this time even? And if so, then what? That's my question. Those are my questions at this point. With that, I want to know what you think, so let me know down in the comments below. All right, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.